Hello everyone and welcome back to CasaCloud. Today we are going to continue our Azure RBAC Masterclass series. This series we have started to gather the understanding of Azure RBAC in particular. What are the key components of Azure RBAC like roles, permissions and role assignments. We have gone through this particular playlist already where the part 1, part 2, part 3 states about what are permissions, role definitions and role assignment in depth. Before going through this video, I suggest you can definitely go through that so that you'll get very good understanding what we are covering today. Okay. A part of this particular playlist is part of a Ansible Azure where we have started from scratch setting up a Kubernetes environment on Azure, which is AKS. We have a source code download. We have gone through project walkthroughs, how to set up everything, and we have created AKS there. And from there, it's a point where we need to understand how to add users and how to add permissions to the users. That's where the RBAC comes into picture. So we have included the RBAC Masterclass series, and the last video that I have shoot on this particular topic was I have created 6 users using the Ansible automation in Azure Entra ID. And now in today's video, what we'll do is we'll be assigning 6 different roles to these particular 6 users, which are related to AKS. These are the built-in roles, which we can see it here now. User 1 will get Azure Kubernetes Service cluster admin role. User 2 will get the cluster user role. User 3 RBAC cluster admin role, and user 4 RBAC admin role. User 5 RBAC reader and user 6 RBAC write role. Okay, you need to follow the CasaCloud repository to follow along with the commands that I'll be running. You can follow the Azure repository in CasaCloud. In this Azure repository, we are in the Azure RBAC, and here you need to go to the 00 Azure RBAC README. Okay, so this README we have already gone through with most of the steps. What is important is this is a combined steps when I need to switch a user in my same terminal, in my same browser. If I want to switch a user from user 1 to user 2 or user 3, likewise. So these are the commands that require, which removes the local cache of the Azure, remove the Kubernetes config, do the AZ login, and then pull the latest credentials of that user, override the existing one, and then convert that to kube login format. Okay, so this is the command that we'll be using heavily today. And a part of this, what we have already gone through in the previous videos, how many roles are offered by Azure for the Azure Kubernetes Service. For that, first I need to do AZ login, and this will point me to the command to login, and then I'll be logging with my personal user ID, which is the owner role of the subscription, and then I'll select the subscription, clear, and then I'll be typing the command AZ role definition list. What it is trying to filter further is it is filtering all the role definitions and looking for Azure Kubernetes Service, this keyword into it, and then further filtering it to extract the action, not action, data action and not data action list of permission inside those roles. Okay, so if I run this, I can see for Kubernetes Service, it is broadly classified into Arc Kubernetes Service, Agent Pool, Hybrid, but what we are interested in is in the initial ones, which are these 7, out of which I am just keeping the contributor role. Okay, because it doesn't have any of the data level action, but we can include that as well, but it was going too further for this particular demo. Okay, so skipping that, I'm just selecting all these 6 roles and I'm assigning to these users, user 1 to user 6. Okay, if I want to see how many users already present inside the system, we'll do AZ user list, azad user list, and we can see we already have the user 1, user 6 already here. Okay, so do I have any of the roles assigned to these users already? For that, I'll be doing role assignment list -o table. So you can see the users are present, but there are no assignments assigned to those users as of now. Okay, so let's go back to our different repository that we have already shown over here. If we go to the Azure CasaCloud, in this Ansible Azure repository, from this repository here, I have all my Ansible source code. I'm just doing source setup.sh to get the base path of the global roles. And now what I'm interested is just to run one particular Ansible script, that is RBAC setup. So if I go RBAC setup, this is the code. Run this particular playbook will be running the command Ansible playbook, will be providing the inventory, and this I've already created a video recently. If you go to the Ansible Azure channel, if you can see this create user and add RBAC, this gives you the complete detail in depth how this particular playbook runs. But for now, I just want to run this and execute it to add all the assignments to the users in automation, because manually adding these assignments to all 6 users will take time. So it is on the user 2 right now. Okay, now the playbook is finished, as you see here. And let's go back to our previous screen, that is the Azure one. Here, let's now check back again the assignments. Let me clear and let's check back the assignments now. Now we can see the user 1 to user 6 now have assignments, just as we have given in this particular format. Every user got its own role, and along with that he got a contributor role as well. Okay, now let's see what is the impact of each user. Let's start with the user number 1, that is Azure Kubernetes Service cluster admin role. For a second, just think a cluster admin role. We think that it should be the most powerful role in Kubernetes as expected with the term, but let's see what actually happens. Let's go to AZ login. For this, to switch the user, how would we go? We go to our Azure RBAC and this one, and here we have the switching user command. And if we execute this, we need to select user 1 first, and we have logged in, and we select the first subscription here. Okay, now if I do AZ account show, I can see I am on the user 1. Same thing we can do in the portal as well. If I go to portal and select user 1, I expect that I should have a subscription assigned, and because I have access to the Kubernetes resource. Which Kubernetes resource we have access to? AKS 1. I already have Kubernetes cluster admin role. So let's see what this Kubernetes cluster admin role can do. If I go again portal.azure.com, user 1, and go to the subscription, pay as you go, IAM roles, cluster admin role, right? So let's search for cluster admin role. So this is the cluster admin role that we are looking for. If we see the details and go to the JSON, what he can do is, in the permissions, he can only do the action. He doesn't have data actions at all. When we say data action in Kubernetes, that means we are talking about all the workloads, though it be deployment, pod, replica set, stateful set, daemon set, jobs, and these are the workloads that comes under the data action and not data action. And the action, which is manage cluster, yes, he can see the cluster. He list the cluster admin credentials. What is cluster admin credentials? Is he can list the cluster admin credential, but in our server when we have configured, we have blocked --admin to use the cluster admin credentials. So that is of no use. Second is he can list the credentials, manage cluster read and run command. So if we go back here, definitely he cannot see all the workloads. Can he see namespaces? He cannot. Can he see storage configurations? He cannot see anything, though he is a cluster admin role. Okay, but can he run commands? He can run commands. And secondly, because he is a cluster admin role, he should be able to see the node pulls. Okay, but he cannot see the nodes because node comes under the data action role. Okay, so coming back to the point, he can upgrade the cluster, he can configure the cluster, he can see the network, he can add the extension, everything he can do. So who is the ideal person we should assign this particular role to? A person who does not have any interest on the applications that are being deployed, but he is managing the infra role, maybe the cloud architect or the cloud specialist person who is only managing, or the senior DevOps person who is managing only the cluster level components. Okay, so I guess we understood this particular role. Let's go to the second role we have, which is cluster user role. Cluster admin role and cluster user role is not much difference. What I've said is a cluster admin role can pull the admin credentials. A part of that can do almost the same things, only he cannot pull the admin credentials. Rest of it is almost the same. Okay, so let's see to log in using the user2. Let's get back to our reset user code. Control V, enter. Okay, let's go to user2, which is the cluster user role. Let me select. Okay, kubectl get nodes, kubectl get pods, kubectl get deploy. Can he do anything? No, he cannot do anything as expected. And same thing will be in the UI. If I just switch the user and go to user2 and I go to the AKS, he definitely have access because he is a cluster user role, and as expected, he cannot see the workloads. He cannot see the namespaces. Can he do the run command? Let's see. He cannot see the workloads for sure, but okay, can he see the configurations, config maps? Fail to load the namespaces, right? And custom resources, he can see the custom resources. Events, he cannot see, it comes on the workload. And then the run command. Let's try. kubectl get pods. As expected, whatever he can do in the terminal here, he should get the same behavior in the run command as well. So he can do only things that are allowed to him. Same node pull, he can see nodes, he cannot see. So this is the user 2. Then the third user is Kubernetes Service RBAC cluster admin. Okay, RBAC cluster admin, whenever the RBAC comes in picture, if I go here and search for the IAMs role and look for RBAC cluster admin, which particular role we are looking for? Azure Kubernetes Service, this one, RBAC cluster admin. Let's see what he can do. Definitely if I go to data actions, because RBAC it is, so he can do some things. Many things he can read, few things he can write. There are many things. Now let's go back to JSON for a simplistic view. What he can do is he can read the authorizations, RBACs, subscriptions, and manage cluster list credentials. Okay, so he can list the cluster user credential, not the admin credential. And added to that, he can also see the manage cluster .star. When I say .star, we have already seen in the previous videos, he can access each and everything inside the manage cluster, which is kind of a very powerful thing because he can do read, write, delete, and update all the operations. So which user it is? It is user 3. Let's go back to reset the user permission. We go to user 3. This is user 3. Let's clear. Can he see pods? He can see pods. Can he see deploy? He can see deploy as well. Can he see nodes? He can see nodes as well. That means each and everything that the cluster level permissions were unable to do, this particular RBAC role can do it. Okay, let's go and see things in action in terminal. Let's go user 3, go to Kubernetes AKS. As expected, because already we have seen which permissions he has, he should be able to see the namespaces. He should be able to see the workloads. Services ingress. He can create custom resources. He can see. He can run the command as well. If I just say here kubectl get pods and just do a run from user 3 kubectl get pods, he should be able to list the pods, but right now there are no pods inside the cluster in the default namespace. So you can see it is executing. Same way, he can see the node pools. So he can see the configurations of the clusters as well and do the updates as well. Okay, so this is by far our first role which has access to the cluster level resources as well as the data level resources. Let's go back to user 4 now, which is RBAC admin. Okay, let's first see what RBAC admin offers to us. RBAC admin, in this there is no cluster. Okay, so let's go Azure Kubernetes Service RBAC admin. Let's see what it offers. JSON. Here what he can do is anything and everything related to authorization, subscription level, and he can list the cluster user credentials only. Okay, and nothing he cannot do. Data action, he again has all the accesses from the managed cluster, but first time we see in the not data action. That means manage cluster.star, consider this as a superset, okay, of all the permissions inside the role, and then minus these particular permissions. That means he cannot write or delete the resource quota and the namespaces. It is almost equivalent to the RBAC cluster admin that we had, but there are few changes that he cannot work with quota. He can read the quota details, but he cannot write or delete the quota detail. Same for the namespaces. Okay, so let's go and switch to this user 4. Copy, go to here, user 4. Let's go to user 4. Select the first subscription. Clear Azure account show. I am user 4. Okay. Now can I see pods? Yes. Can I see nodes? Yes, I can see nodes as well. And can I see namespaces? Yes, I can see the namespaces as well. Same thing will happen in the UI as well. nothing changes because it is the same user. Switch to the user 4. Okay, now go to Kubernetes Service, AKS. As expected, he can see the namespaces, but if I want to delete any of the namespaces, should I be able to delete? Confirm, delete. Fail to do so, forbidden 403. This confirms that I cannot delete the namespaces as it is suggested inside this. You cannot delete the namespace. Okay, perfect. Apart of this, resource quota and other things as well he cannot do, but he can fluently see all the workloads, pods, replica sets, stateful set. So the ideal user for this role would be a developer who is creating applications and trying to deploy test inside the AKS, but he's not looking after the shared namespace kind of. If this is a shared cluster, maybe shared with multiple teams, so namespaces are kind of created and managed by the central team. So this particular role will be very good to those central teams. Okay, so let's go back to the fifth user that we have, that is RBAC reader. As name suggests, now because RBAC is there, definitely he is able to access the cluster. And reader, that means he has mostly read writes. Okay, RBAC reader, Kubernetes service RBAC reader, as we are expecting. Let's go to JSON. What he can do is he can definitely see the subscription and resource group, and then in the data action it is very specific that he can do very specific things and he can only read okay, there are no write, no update, no delete options here. Okay, very specific managed service permissions to read. Okay, and there is nothing out of the these permission that he cannot do. So it is a very simplistic reader role that we can use. So let's go back to our user 5. User 5, 1, enter. Clear. Okay, can I see the pods? I can see the pods. Just let's see account show. Okay, it is user 5 only. Can I see nodes? I cannot see nodes because nodes are not allowed to see by this user. Okay, that's a difference. Can I see the namespace? Get ls. I can see the namespaces as well. Let's see the same stuff inside the portal. We go to user 5. From here we go to Kubernetes service, AKS. Okay, quick things, namespaces. Can I delete the namespace? As per rule, I should be forbidden, right? Yes. Same with the workloads. I can see the pods. Can I delete one of the pod? If I want to, I cannot. It is forbidden, right? So as expected, as we have seen inside the list of the approved permissions, it is behaving the same way. Configuration, can he see? He can see the configurations. Run command. Let's check quickly. kubectl get parts by user 5. So he can see and execute the command as well. Node pools, he can see the node pools, but can he see the nodes? No, he cannot see the nodes here. Can he see the cluster configuration? Because he has the cluster user role, he has pulled the cluster user credentials, so he can definitely see the basic configuration of this, but he cannot do the extended work. Okay, and our last one is RBAC write. Okay, so user 6 RBAC write. Let's see what this particular user can do. It is RBAC write, Kubernetes service RBAC write. What he can do, let's go to JSON. Authorization on the subscription level, resource group level read. He can do some data actions which include read of the version, but he can do everything related to daemon set, deployment, replica set, stateful sets, job, horizontal pod scaling. So he has all the read, write, delete and update rights for all the workloads that we have. Okay, and there is nothing he cannot do because these are very specific permissions already granted. Okay, so let's see this in action. Let's switch to our user 6, Control V. I want to select my user 6. 1, enter. Clear. If I do account show, I'm user 6. Can I see pods? I can. Nodes, I cannot see the nodes. Okay, it is only on the workload level. And what about the namespace? CTL get NS. I can see the namespace as well. That means on the workload level, I can see all the workloads and I can delete, update all the workloads, right? So let's switch to user 6. We know already what is going to happen, but now this boost your confidence that before applying a role to a user, we know what that user will be able to do. How can we investigate which permission he has, which permission he doesn't have, using the cluster role definition list inside this block. Okay, I hope you understood this level. So let's go user 6 AKS. He can see the namespaces, he can see the workloads, he can actually do everything related to the workloads, pod, replica sets, stateful set. This is a pure developer access. So if a user is a developer who is deploying his applications inside the AKS, this is the perfect role for him. Okay, node pools he can see, but nodes he cannot see. So definitely he is not a DevOps person, he is a pure developer on the AKS. He is deploying his application on the AKS and he is managing these applications. And to manage that, he has to see the configuration and he has to see the secrets as well. So all the roles are available. So if I go back to the list of roles that we have, so if I see from user 1 to user 6 now, and I want to analyze which user should have which particular title, then user 1 can be a cloud architect or cloud solution engineer kind of person who has nothing to do with the applications being deployed inside the cluster, but he has to manage the cluster, make sure that the clusters are updated, and these kind of roles has to be done by mostly user 1 and user 2. User 3 is kind of a hybrid role. He is acting as Kubernetes admin as well. That means he has to update and manage the configuration of the cluster, and he has few applications that he has to maintain inside the AKS as well. So that is user 3. User 4, 5 and 6 depends on which particular kind of application user you are on the AKS. If you are on the admin side, RBAC admin, then you have some admin related rights. And if you are pure application person, nothing to do with the rights, RBAC, cluster updates and these things, then you need to select RBAC reader or RBAC writer. In that, RBAC reader is someone who is only looking into the environment, like the testers who doesn't directly update the environments, and RBAC writers are the ones who are the developers who are developing the application and deploying this to AKS and have everyday role of like keep on updating, checking, deploying, rechecking the application inside the AKS. So I guess you now understood what are the built-in AKS roles possible, and how should we classify and how should we see the role definition. But all these are built-in roles, right? In what if you want to have a custom role? You want a role that user one has, that is cluster admin role, but you want the RBAC writer role in that as well. That means he should be able to manage the cluster, which will be a very powerful role. He'll be a cluster admin, but also he'll be able to manage the workloads inside the cluster. Can you create such role, which is a custom role? Definitely you can. To do that, let's go to the create custom role here. For creating the custom role, we need to see this is the custom role JSON. It is just like any other role that we have seen. Name is custom true, data action, not data action, not action, data action, not data action, and the assignable scope here. Okay, it is just a standard format. It's just that we are stuffing our things into it. And what we are calling this role, a custom role, full data access to AKS. Okay, let's see how to create this role using the command az role definition create -- role definition and give this. Okay, let's create this one. Let's see if we have this file here. We have the custom role.json, cat custom role.json, exactly same file we have here. Okay, now let's see if this is the same file, cat custom role.json. Yes, it is the same file, custom role, this one. So how to create this role definition? Az role definition create role definition and give the path. Let's create this role definition. I cannot right now because the current role, which is control R account show, I am the user 6 and user 6 do not have the access to create the custom role definition. Let's go back and reset our user and let's go back to the owner level, that is my account. Okay, I'm here now, clear. And if I now rerun the same command of creating the custom role, I should be able to create that custom role. Let's wait. And yes, the custom role is created. Okay, let's go back here in the custom role creation page. Let's list the custom role. How does it looks? Az role definition list -- name cluster role. Yes, the definition is present. Assign the custom role to a user. Okay, what we are trying to do, we know that this particular user do not have access to the workloads inside the cluster, and we are now trying to add this custom role to this particular user 1. Okay, let's do this. The command is az role assignment create -- assign user 1, and the role is the custom user and the scope is subscription level. Let's see if we can add this one. Okay, now this particular RBAC is assigned to that user role. Now what we can do is we can switch to the user 1. How do we do this? We go back here, we reset the user, and here convert, and this time we'll be selecting user 1. Let's go user 1, select, and first clear. Previously this person was able to see the namespaces or pods. Now he can see the pods. Can he see the deployment? He can see the deployment. Can he see the namespace? Get NS. He's forbidden to see the namespaces. Okay, because in the cluster manage namespaces is not provided. Can he see the nodes? He can see the nodes, but he cannot see the namespaces as expected. Okay, let's go back and switch to user one here. Ctrl Shift R. Let's go to Kubernetes, AKS, and let's see whether this person is able to see the namespaces. No, we have not given this particular access, but can he see the workloads now because he is a cluster admin? Okay, can he see the pods? He can see the pods. Can he see the replica sets? Yes. Stateful sets? Yes. Yes, he can see everything but the namespace. So this is the custom role that we have created. Now, if we want to remove this custom role, then what we can do is we can go to the custom roles. We can remove the assignment first because we have given the assignment of this custom role to a user. We can go back. This is agent role assignment delete to user one, the custom role. So once we execute this, I don't have the access. Again, I need to go back, duplicate, open, and go back to the original user, which is my own user. Clear, and now I should be able to remove the assignment given to the user one. Okay, now I can do it. It is completed, and the last part is to remove the entire custom role that we have created. Agent role definition delete minus name, the custom role that we have given. If we just enter this, okay, it is completed. So now I guess you have the complete understanding on what are the roles offered by Azure, the built-in roles, how they affect a user, and if we do not have a built-in role, then how to create the custom roles. Okay, I guess this is all for today's video. Thank you so much for viewing this video till now. Have a good day.